Before we get started, another thank you for getting me to 1,500 subscribers, but also a reminder that we're going to have a live chat Sunday at 6 p.m. for Mile Y enthusiasts. It costs $4.99. All you have to do is hit join. You should see it on this page. If you don't see it, go to the main page and it'll be right there for you. You get weekly chats. You get semi-weekly videos. You're going to get a bunch of prospect stuff. I think it's great. I understand anybody who doesn't want to spend $4.99 for anything right now. But I would really appreciate the support. Thank you so much for your consideration. And thank you again for 1,500 followers. And thank you to the Mariners for giving a nice 9-0 win to those of us who like that sort of thing. And I think that's most of us. They improved to 33-27 on the year. And they've taken the first 2 games of the 3-game set with the Los Angeles Angels. Go over the scoring plays. 3rd inning, Julio Rodriguez with 2 out singles home Ryan Bliss. That gives them a 1-0 lead. 4th inning, J.P. Crawford with a grand slam to score. Mitch Haniger, Luke Raley, and Ryan Bliss. Really nice game for Bliss today. And, of course, J.P. Crawford, grand slam. Very, very good. Proud of my son. 5-0 at the end of 4. 6th inning, Luke Raley homers to left center to give it the Mariners a 6-0 lead, and they're not done in the 6th. Julio Rodriguez singles in Ryan Bliss to make it 7-0, and Big Dumper with a 2-run double to score Dylan Moore, and Julio Rodriguez 9-0 Mariner win. A couple negatives, and they have nothing to do with the baseball game. The big negative is Gabe Speier gets placed on the injured list prior to this game. It's a big loss, and I know Gabe Speier hasn't been the same Gabe Speier he was in April as of late, and I kind of think that this maybe is a lingering injury. You know, maybe one of the reasons why we haven't seen him in as many high leverage situations. Did have a nice outing against Houston not that long ago, but this is a big loss, and it makes Taylor Saucedo a much more important part of this bullpen. I think he's capable of being as good as Gabe Speier, but hasn't been for the most part. And it puts a little bit more pressure on Kirby Snead. And Snead is the Mariner reliever I trust the least. I was somewhat surprised he was still on the roster, but now that I know about the Gabe Speier thing, it makes a lot more sense. They got to make a move for a reliever. This was true before the Speier injury, but it's even more true now. It's even more like you have to go get relief help. Have to. And then the other negative is just the Angels are just awful to watch. I mean, this is not a good baseball team, and that's an obvious thing. And I knew that. I've watched a bunch of Angels baseball this year for my job, but man, you just look at this roster, and it's terrible. It's just terrible, and it's not like you're seeing a ton of young players who have a chance to get better and build into their next thing. I think they have to tear down everything. I'm going on record right now that I think Oakland is better positioned to be a long-term contender, and I think is a better baseball team right now. And that is darning with faint praise, to say the very least. Like, I still think Joe Adele, even though he is scuffling right now, sans the grand slam yesterday, but I think he's like 1 for his last 34, struck out 3 times today. We'll talk about why he struck out 3 times today in a little bit. But Adele, Zach Neto, Nolan Shanwell, I mean, these are nice complementary pieces, but there's just such little upside, and the pitching's bad. This is a awful situation, and in a positive note, I'm so glad that we don't have to watch Shohei Ohtani play for this baseball team. So glad. Okay, that's the end of the negatives. Here's the positives. Simply Seattle, for one, they provide the very best in Seattle sports gear. Great stuff for all the Seattle sports teams. Once you find what you're looking for, use promo code MOLLYWOP15, MOLLYWHOP15. It'll take 15% off your order. So you go to www.simplyseattle.com. You enter that code. It takes 15% off your order, and you save money. Simply Seattle gets some business, which is awesome. And we don't get anything, but we do show that you're paying attention to the show. So we get a lot in that regard. Thank you so much, Simply Seattle. Lots of positives today. Let's just start with the starting pitcher. Bryce Miller was outstanding. This is the best I've seen him throw in a while. He wasn't horrible against Houston. You know, gives up 2 runs over 6 innings. I thought the stuff looked a lot better. And it certainly helps that he's facing an absolute crap show of a team. Don't get me wrong. But I think the stuff looked really good. The command was outstanding. Just the one walk, so the control was just as good as the command. This was Bryce Miller. If he's that version of Bryce Miller, this rotation is just going to, and he's been that for a lot of the year. He has a 3.18 ERA. He strikeout to walk ratio is great. There's lots to like about Bryce Miller. There have just been some issues, especially against better teams. The concerns that I had for Brian Wu have really been the concerns for Bryce Miller for me. How is he going to do against better teams? And he did not face a better team today. But I think that stuff would have played against anybody. Very, very nice job. Bullpen gets the job done. Snead, again, does give up a couple of hits, and he is just not someone I trust in high leverage at all. But the 9-0 game, a great pitcher to have. I thought Michael Baumann looked really good. Gave up a hit and a fly ball to the warning track, but you saw that secondary stuff, man. He's got a chance to be something really good with this Seattle pitching development team. Really good. You can bring up the FIP that he had the last couple of years and a bunch of stuff. He's not the same pitcher as that guy. He was good in 2023 for the most part. He wasn't great in 2024 with Baltimore. We've talked about it. We did a whole video on the trade. I like Michael Baumann a lot, and I really like what I saw from him, and Austin Voth did a fine job as well. It's kind of funny seeing him pitch in a 9-0 game. That's what I would have expected his role to be to begin the year, but because of injuries, he's become a lot more important. Really good job by the pitching staff today, obviously. Shutout, 12 strikeouts, 90 of 136 pitches for strikes. It's good. It was good. It was helped by a bad lineup, but the stuff would have played either way. Positives offensively, a bunch of them. Well, yeah, a bunch of them. JP Crawford with the grand slam also draws a walk. He's driving the baseball again. Awesome to see. He's so important for this offense. I mean, understatement that's such an understatement. I was going to say obvious point is obvious, but somehow it became understatement is understatement. Really, really, really nice to see him drive the baseball. And against a left-handed pitcher, too. And a decent one in Ty Detmers, too. I knew I was going to call him Ty Detmers. I knew it. Reed Detmers. I'm tired. But, yeah. Great to see that grand slam. 3-hit day for Julio. I was a little disappointed they didn't let Julio hit against Mr. Vanessa Hudgens, a.k.a. Cole Tucker. But, you know, I don't blame him for getting him out of the game. But 3 hits, drives in 2 runs. You know, it was a scoreless game until Julio lined that single with 2 outs to score Bliss. And it, you know, the floodgates get opened. But at the time, that was a big hit. A big hit, you know. Again, I want to see the ball go over the fence as much as anybody else. But it's hard to argue with the results that we've seen since that New York series. So, awesome job by Julio. Cal Raleigh with a big 2-run double, which Haniger gets on a couple of times. Ty France draws a walk. Luke Raley with a walk, a homer, a couple runs scored. Awesome to see him drive the baseball. You know, he's dealt with some injury stuff. It's interesting today. He had the old played left field, right field, and left field today as he makes some moves around. But yeah, great to see a nice game from Luke Raley. And Ryan Bliss, first of all, congratulations on your first major league hit. And he stung that baseball. But he draws 2 walks. And his base running has been superb. He steals a couple of bags today, which is, you know, obviously it's something that we like to see. The first 2 stolen bases of your career. Awesome. But it was so much more than that. Because, yes, those 2 steals are huge because you literally put yourself in position to score that run. You draw that walk, and then, you know, you would have scored on that single anyway because he's really fast. But at third base, that makes that a guaranteed play. And then he tags up from first base late in the game, gets to second base, and on Julio's second RBI single, which is just a little blooper, he got as good a read as you possibly could. As good of read as you possibly could, ends up scoring that run. Yes, he's only hitting 143, but a 455 on base percentage kind of tells you how not overmatched he's been in these games. And you watch him play, and it's clear it's not too big for him, which is huge. It's it's not a perfect situation. There are some defensive concerns with Bliss, mostly with his hands, not with his range. He doesn't have the greatest arm in the world, but I think it should play fine. But I've been really impressed with what I've seen from Ryan Bliss. Really impressed. And I think most of you know that I was big on him before the trade. It was one of the reasons why I didn't absolutely lose my stuff when they made the Paul Sewald trade. And again, for those of you who've never heard this take from me, would have loved that trade on November 30th, 2022 or 2023. Hated that trade on July 30th, 2023, just because of what it represented. But this was a good win, and it's nice to see them really play well at home. Really play well at home after a road trip where, it ends with a major disappointment, losing 2 of 3 to a bad Washington baseball team. And at times looked pretty bad. Even going 4-6, there was some luck involved. But they've looked the part. They've won 5 of 6 on this homestand so far. And you got a chance for a sweep tomorrow. I'd go get it. Don't know what the pitching matchups are tomorrow. Doesn't really matter. You should get it either way, but let's take a look. Luis Castillo against Griffin Canning. Oh, you bet you're sweet. You know what? You should get a sweep. You bet you're sweet. You know what? That you should get a sweep. Boy, they're bad. Boy, oh boy, the Angels are just a really bad baseball team. And also, I think I said we were doing the video on Sunday, the live chat on Sunday. It's Monday. The live chat is Monday. We're going to do Mondays because I don't work Mondays anymore. So, this is kind of work, but work. NBC Sports, shout out Roto World. That work. I don't work that. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. Please don't make fun of me for calling them Ty Detmers. This was fun. But boy, the Angels